Hello and welcome to episode 142 of your favorite daily podcast, A Couple of Things, a podcast about things. Today, I'm going to talk about the fact that it's actually okay, if it is distress and pain that leads you to God. So while I was doing my daily Bible reading today, I was in Psalm 118 and verse 5 stood out to me today. And so I wrote it that I will talk about it today on the podcast. And Psalm 118 verse 5 says, I called to the Lord in distress. The Lord answered me and he put me in a spacious space. Another version says, out of my distress, I called on the Lord. The Lord answered me and set me free. And I think I've touched on this probably on a previous episode of the podcast, but I thought it was important to devote an episode to this topic because I've seen people talk about how, if you become a Christian or you were a Christian and then you fell out of it and then you came back because of trouble in your life or trauma or distress or sickness or whatever, then you're not really a real Christian or your faith is fake or something, which is the most I'm trying to think of a nice word to use, but it doesn't make any sense because that is literally one of the most anti-biblical, anti-scriptural, anti-Jesus things I've ever heard in my life. I don't know what Bible y'all are reading that makes you think that that is true, that because you went to God from a place of desperation, a place of weariness, a place where you felt like everything else had sucked and you felt like you were at the depth and the bottom of everything, that means that your faith is not real. I don't know what Bible you're reading, but my Bible tells me that God always will never turn away the brokenhearted. He will never turn away the downtrodden. He will never turn away the people who are contrite, who are brokenhearted, and all of those things. And even when Jesus talked about the parable of the prodigal son, when the prodigal son went back to his father, wasn't when he still had a lot of the money, that an inheritance that he had collected. He had literally squandered his inheritance. It was literally living with pigs and eating pig food. That is where he was, in the depths of what can only be described as penury. And that not just penury in terms of he didn't have money, he was alone. He didn't have friends, he didn't have loved ones, he didn't have anybody with him. And it's not just from a money point of view, but from even like his sense of being a person was almost gone, because he was like, I can go back to my father, but not even as a child, but like as a servant. Like his sense of identity was gone. He was alone in the world. He was poor and everything. And that is when he had his moment of awakening and went back to his father. And what happened? His father ran to him, and his father did not even wait for him to get there. His father ran to him. And that is the image of who God is. God is going to accept you no matter what caused you to come to him. It doesn't matter. As long as your coming to him is genuine and true, it doesn't matter what actually led you there. I don't really have a lot to say on this topic. This episode is going to be a really short one, but I want to emphasize again that it doesn't matter what led you to God, whether it was heartbreak, whether it was sudden illness, whether it was sudden loss, whether it was whatever it was, you had an accident and things happened to you, your friends all abandoned you, somebody broke up with you, you lost a loved one. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter. As long as you have gone to God in genuineness, in like humbly, and knowing that you need help, admitting that, as long as you've gone to God fully, everything else that came before that does not matter. The only thing that matters is that you have found the most important thing in the world, which is to know God and to be known by Him, and to be adopted into His family through Jesus Christ. Once that has happened, everything that happened before, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what anybody tells you, it doesn't matter what anybody says to you, or what anybody wants to make you believe. It is a lie that your faith is not real because it came from a place of desperation and being down. I want you to know that God is always waiting for you. He's ready for you. He's waiting for you, and He's willing and ready to accept you at any time that you come to Him. Whatever the reason or prompt for that coming to Him is, the important thing that is God is waiting, He's willing, and He's ready. There are so many examples all over scripture, from Genesis all the way down, where you see people who came to God from a place of being beaten down, and He accepted them. He didn't turn them back like, well, it's too late for you. You should have come when all things were going rosy and fine and dandy for you. No, He accepted them, He embraced them, and He transformed them. And so don't let anybody deceive you or lie to you. So, as one of my favorite people, Pastor Forms, puts it doesn't matter how or when you found God. Everything that led you to the place of desperation, where God was the best or only option for you, has served its purpose. It will never be something to be ashamed of, and it will always be good. Thanks for listening. That's it for today. Bye. Thank you for listening to today's episode of A Couple of Things. If there was anything you found interesting or insightful, or you enjoyed the episode, please do share to someone or multiple people. Like, leave a comment, and definitely do subscribe and all the nice things. Bye. Here is your regular reminder that I am accepting questions and topic suggestions. Also, you can now nominate yourself or someone else to be featured on the podcast to talk about anything that you find interesting. And you can do all of this, whether submitting a question or nominating yourself or someone, through the link in the show notes.